Yeah, and the truth is, if you have great stuff, you can challenge over the white part of the plate a little bit more, let your stuff just play. If you don't, you better figure out...
Oh, no! Oh, my goodness, the White Sox have just gone full White Sox.
After a horrific season, many say that the 2024 White Sox are the worst team of all time. Baseball has been America's pastime for over 100 years, so I wanted to dig into the 2024 White Sox to analyze their failure of a season and find out if they truly are the worst team of all time. There have been a lot of atrocious teams throughout history. To narrow it down, to truly find the worst team, I'll be judging off two main factors: finding the most losses in MLB history, and finding the most losses through a 162 game season. These very well may be the same team, and yes, it very well may be the 2024 White Sox. So first, let's run through the established worst teams of all time. When thinking of downright terrible teams, many think of the 1899 Cleveland Spiders. No, I'm not joking, it's actually the first team that come to mind to many fans. The 1899 Spiders were a victim of cruel crimes committed by their corrupt co-owner. A little alliteration for you there. Their owner, Frank Robinson, not that Frank Robinson, owned the St. Louis Browns, now the St. Louis Cardinals, as well as the Cleveland Spiders, and we'll see why this is obviously not allowed anymore. Robinson moved all the good players on both teams to the Browns and all the bad ones to Cleveland with the Spiders, a move Jerry Reinsdorf is probably very jealous of. The Browns fittingly became the St. Louis Perfectos as they took players including all-time winningest pitcher Cy Young from the Spiders. The ill-fated Spiders hit 12 home runs as a team, had a run differential of -723, went 20-134, and were promptly disbanded. Rest in peace to Cleveland Spiders, which I personally still believe Cleveland should have brought back to life when the Indians rebranded. Either way, the Spiders lost 134 games, which is still the MLB record for total losses in a season. However, there is a different worst team of all time for a full 162 game season. The 1962 Casey Stengel-led Mets were a truly terrible team. If it were still 1912 like it was in Stengel's playing days, then the 1962 Mets would be right up to speed. Also, that's insane, Stengel managed the Mets through their first 4 seasons and also played the same year the Titanic sank. Speaking of horrific tragedies, the Mets led the league in ERA, errors, and losses with 120. Although the current White Sox play like they've never played baseball before, the 1962 Mets literally had never played a game before, as that was their very first expansion season. So both the Mets and the Spiders had very respectable and fair reasons to suck. The White Sox do not. This season may be a disaster and may very well be the worst team of all time, but remember, this didn't start this season. This story starts a long time ago and is all too familiar to fans of the Southsiders. From 1917 to 2005, the White Sox failed to capture the elusive World Series trophy a single time. Known as the Curse of the Black Sox, or the Curse of Shoeless Joe, the 1919 team is forever known as the Black Sox, intentionally fixed and lost the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds. As shown in the Field of Dreams, 8 players, including Shoeless Joe Jackson, were forever banned from the league, and it seemed as if the White Sox were banned from the World Series. Although it seems like the curse is still affecting the team, fingers can be pointed at the man who controls the team, Jerry Reinsdorf. Another classic case of a bad owner ruining a historic ball club. But don't worry, White Sox fans, Reinsdorf made sure to write a letter to explain the pathetic performance of the last few seasons. They've had plenty of talent in the last decade that have done nothing for the club. In 2016, they shipped off then 5-time All-Star pitcher Chris Sale to the Red Sox, where he went on to win the World Series. Hey, at least the White Sox got Moncada and Kopech. At least they have a 2-time Silver Slugger Fernando Tatis. Oh, they traded him too? For James Shields, who led the league in losses in 2018, his final year in the league. Even when they give out money to promising All-Stars like Andrew Benintendi, they seem to perform worse once they arrive. Honestly, they might still be cursed. But first, let's go back 5 years to see how the White Sox got to this terrible, horrible, no good, very bad season. It's currently 2021 and the White Sox faithful are ready for a promising season as the core of Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, Yoan Moncada and Luis Robert are primed and ready to make another run for the World Series. Maybe the curse of Shoeless Joe was finally gone from the team, and the White Sox were on track to win their second fall classic since 1917.
Anderson hits it in the air to right, back at the wall, and the White Sox win it!
This was the exact moment the team peaked. It was all downhill from here. On a high note, the 2021 White Sox finally looked like contenders. They had it all: talented young hitters, a fantastic pitching staff, and a ton of energy and excitement. Some way, somehow, this team crumbled and completely collapsed and broke up. The team seemed to fall asleep at the wheel, much like La Russa after 8 p.m. or even in the first inning. How does a team that won 93 games in 2021 with such a young core manage to lose over 100 games twice in the last 3 years? And as you can see, since 2005, where they won the World Series, they have not had a lot of success, especially in October, with only 3 appearances, including 2020. But every time it looks like they're contending, they collapse right after. Like in 2021, after an ALDS appearance, the win total has plummeted every year since. One reason was Jerry Reinsdorf hiring Tony La Russa. La Russa was 76 when they hired him, and Reinsdorf apparently owed him for wrongfully firing him in 1986. He definitely coached like it was still the 80s. And after dealing with sickness and general old age, he left and Pedro Grifol took over for 2023. After the ill-fated La Russa era was over, it was up to second-year manager Grifol to lead the team. In 2023, the White Sox landed free agent outfielder Andrew Benintendi on a 5-year, $75 million contract to be the centerpiece of the outfield. Known for his playoff heroics as a rookie with the Red Sox and coming off an all-star campaign in 2022 split with the Royals and Yankees, Benny Biceps was looking to rebuild his career in Chicago's South Side. The 2023 White Sox were ready for a fight.
Head first slide, safe, and in to score is Jimenez. And another hustle double, right over the bag at first. Now Hosey and Anderson square off. They're fighting, they're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
Okay, maybe not an actual fight. They were fighting, but just off the field and only with each other. Tim Anderson, once an MVP candidate and centerpiece to the team, was knocked out and his career in the South Side fizzled out as he moved to Miami hoping to regain his form. The 2023 White Sox were TKO'd on the diamond and look forward to next season. Neither the fans, players, or front office could have predicted exactly how bad they would be.
At this point, we would need a historic turnaround to even be mildly relevant. Everyone said the AL Central was weak, and it might be in comparison to others, but the Sox aren't better than the Guardians or the Twins. We're not even better than the Royals. And the fact that we're only incrementally better than the Tigers is exactly the kind of indictment on this organization that we need. The lack of success that this roster has is a referendum on what we've already seen in 2006, 2007, 2011, 2013, 2015, and 16, and the excruciating last 7 years that only led to this. I mean, Stoney is more worried about Lance Lynn eating a salad than the entire organization not knowing how to teach Major League prospects how to hit a baseball.
After the 61-win campaign, it looked like things couldn't get worse, and they retooled and prepared for the 2024 season. One way they prepared was shipping out Ace, Dylan Cease for prospects in a late spring blockbuster. In addition to this, Yoan Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, and Luis Robert all went down with lingering injuries that kept the three out for huge chunks of the season. They were running out of MLB caliber players in only the first month. The White Sox were going full White Sox.
The White Sox have just gone full White Sox.
Unlike the Oakland A's, the White Sox didn't even have an extremely tight payroll. They were 18th in the league, which is much worse considering how much money they had tied to this tremendously bad team. This was not only a good team turning into a bad one, but a bad team turning into one of the worst ever. As the AL Central toughened up in the last year or so, partly due to winning so many games against the in-division White Sox, it became a lot harder for the White Sox to find wins in their schedule. In July, they went 3-22, and in total they were 27-77, a far cry from competing in the division, and it was apparent to everyone around the league they could pick off the scraps of talent left on the roster like vultures. Starting outfielder Eloy Jimenez was shipped off to Baltimore, starter Eric Fedu and outfielder Tommy Pham to St. Louis, starting shortstop Paul DeJong off to Kansas City, who were in a race with Cleveland for the division lead, reliever Michael Kopech to LA, where he dominated with a 1.1 ERA and still leads their bullpen through scoreless outings deep through October. They were losing a lot of their MLB caliber players. Now with an even more depleted roster, August was no better as the team battled through a third in league worst 12-game losing streak. This was behind a 14-game skid by the White Sox, and in first place in the league, a 21-game losing run by the White Sox, all in the same season.
All right, you guys, let's listen up. We won a game yesterday. And if we win one today, that's 2 in a row. We win one tomorrow, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before. So let's see some hustle. Let's jack it up a little. I got a feeling things are about to turn around for us.
The White Sox have only ever lost 12 in a row 3 times in franchise history: 1967, 1927, and 1924, 90 years ago. Most fans now have never even seen a streak that bad, let alone 3 times in one season. After the record 21-game losing streak, it was time to end the suffering, and Grifol was fired, and the more clubhouse-friendly former player Grady Sizemore was chosen as the interim manager to ease the suffering. Now it was all on Sizemore to avoid leading the team to the worst record in league history. Sizemore was an experienced player, but was an intern for the Diamondbacks farm system just one season previous, and a lot of pressure was put on the former Silver Slugger. By September, the stadium was filled with boos and sell the team chants. The fans that did choose to endure the suffering at Guaranteed Right Field made sure their presence and sacrifice were heard. With just 3 games to go, the White Sox sat at 39-120, tied with the 1962 Mets for most losses of all time. They had 1 series left to prevent the previously unthinkable from happening and couldn't afford a single loss. It was against a division rival fighting for the postseason Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park. After trade speculation all season, starter Garrett Crochet was up to the mound. Not a bad start. Through the first 4 innings, both teams were tied up as neither team reached home, something the White Sox would celebrate at this point in their year. In the bottom of the 5th, with Jared Schuster on the mound, disaster struck as a wild pitch and a sac fly led to the Tigers going up 2-0. They had 4 more innings to show their spirit. With 2 outs in the top of the 6th, down 2-0, through a tremendous display of fight, rookie outfielder Zach DeLoach hit one deep down the right field line. It sails over the outfielder's head as DeLoach hit his only home run of the season. You can almost hear the Moneyball theme as DeLoach rounded the bases. Can the White Sox do the impossible and not be the worst team of all time? With the score still 1-2 in the bottom of the 7th, an early double from the Tigers leads to Sizemore calling for an intentional walk on Matt Vierling, a name pitchers and fans alike fear when he walks up to bat. The Barry Bonds of Detroit, some call him. The Tigers quickly hit another double, and another wild pitch iced the game as the White Sox go down without a fight in underwhelming fashion. It's official, the White Sox are the worst team of all time. The White Sox ended the year at 41-121 with a .253 winning percentage. In fact, Lenyn Sosa at .254 was the only qualified batter with a batting average above that rate. Not great for the team or the players. On the bright side, the people of Chicago wrapped up on an optimistic note of not having to watch the White Sox play anymore. I visited Guaranteed Right Field in August against the Tigers, expecting it to be a form of disaster tourism and finding a void of fans or MLB caliber players. While it is true that the team sucked, I was overwhelmed by the fans and their support in late August when the team was already completely out of contention. The fans were loud and I couldn't help but imagine the energy at the park with a fun team in October. As Reinsdorf just announced he looked to sell the team, hopefully the White Sox find a good suitor that can finally bring them from rags to riches. So thank you guys for watching, and especially thanks for 1K subscribers, and feel free to comment down below. I love talking to you guys about the videos. My new goal is for 1 billion likes on this video, so make sure to click that like button and help on that journey to 1 billion subscribers. See you next time.